Hello my dear future doctor. Today you are going to learn about that subject which is going to fetch you 450 marks in your NEET examination. Yes, NEET biology. My dearest student, now you are going to learn a chapter. Whenever you are going to learn a chapter, this single thought has to come in your mind. This chapter might be a turning point in my NEET score, which can save plenty of lives. When we look at the word biology, how does its etymology lie? Now, this is the beautiful word biology, which is derived from the Greek word bios means life and logos means study. So the study of life science is called as biology. You know, when you understand this biology, it is broadly classified into two. The first one is called as botany and the second one is called as zoology. Now again, when we go for the etymology of the word zoology, it is derived from the Greek word that means zoion and that which means animals, and logos means study. So the study of animals is called as zoology. Now when we come to the word botany, as such we split the word biology and split the word zoology. We cannot split the word botany. Therefore, an important NEET question lies there. How about the word botany? Botany is derived from the Greek word boskein, that means grazing, which rarely has a meaning feeding. So botany, it cannot be split as bo plus tani or bota plus ni. Botany is derived from the Greek word which means boskein, that means grazing. Now when we understand the father of zoology, the Greek scientist Aristotle is regarded as the father of zoology and the great man Theophrastus is called as the father of botany. Now coming to the father of biology, again Aristotle is considered as the father of biology. You might be wondering, there were n number of scientists, n number of men who contributed to the field of biology. But why Aristotle is considered as the father of biology? Aristotle is considered as the father of biology because of so many contributions, and the chief among them is he constructed Scala Naturae, the ladder of nature. He placed the entire living organism in that ladder and placed man, we the man, at the top. So one of the major contributions that led Aristotle to be considered as the father of biology is the construction of Scala Naturae and placing man at the top. So father of botany, Theophrastus; father of zoology, Aristotle; and father of biology, again Aristotle. So summarizing the entire points, now tell me, so bios plus logos, that is biology; zoo plus ology or zeon plus ology, that is zoology; boskein or the grazing is a root word for the word botany. Aristotle is known as the father of biology and father of zoology, and Theophrastus is called as the father of botany. Now let's learn the first unit of biology, the living world. Usually 1 to 2 questions are asked for the NEET from this chapter. Let's go grab that question now. So we have studied about two scientists' names. One is Aristotle and the second one is Theophrastus. Let us acquaint with two more names. The term biology, it was introduced by two scientists called Grandhas and Lamarck. The term biology was introduced by two scientists, Grandhas and Lamarck. Now, another one NCERT question also lies there. Who was the Darwin of 20th century? This is a very important expected NEET question. Darwin of 20th century is Ernest Mayr. So Mayr is considered as the Darwin of 20th century, the man who brought about the biological concept of species. So who introduced the term biology? The term biology was introduced by Grandhas and Lamarck. Meanwhile, the Darwin of the 20th century is whom? Mayr. Now let's look up the term, what is life? What is life? So on the onset, let us scientifically learn about the word life. I live, you live, everyone lives. But what is life? See, 5 major characteristics contribute towards life. So we can define life as a unique, complex organization of molecules that lead to the first process is called as growth. Now, then you develop, then you respond, then you adapt, and then you reproduce. So, the process that involves growth, development, responsiveness, adaptation, and reproduction is called as life. So, you may remember it as GDR, that is growth, development, responsiveness, adaptation, and reproduction are the qualities of life. Now we are going to come to a very important NEET question. Now that we had heard about life, what are the properties of living organisms? We all are living. So what makes us to say that, this is the evidence for life? So that are called the properties of living organisms. We have 5 properties for a living organism. The first one is called growth. The second one, reproduction. The third one, metabolism. The fourth one, cellular organization. And the fifth one is consciousness. Only living beings are said to have these properties. But some of these properties are exclusively meant only for living organisms. Those characters are called defining characters. Getting me? So the character that solely respond to a living organism is called defining, and other characters are called as non-defining characters. So among these 5, let us analyze which all of them are first defining, second non-defining. So can you all please tell me the 5 properties? Growth, reproduction, metabolism, cellular organization, and consciousness. There was a student in my class and her name was Gayatri. She used to very beautifully tell all the mantras. So here we can have a simple mnemonic. Gayatri reads mantras crystal clear. Growth, reproduction, metabolism, now cellular organization and consciousness. Growth, reproduction, metabolism, cellular organization and consciousness. Now let's learn what exactly is growth. So my dear future doctor, growth is nothing but 2 qualities. One is increase in number, 2 increase in the mass of the cell. 1 increase in number, 2 increase in mass. So what is growth? Growth is characterized by 2 features. 1 is increase in number, 2 is increase in mass. Now when we look at this, increase in number and increase in mass is not alone the characteristic feature of growth. See, in the plants, when you take about plants, we can see that in plants, they continue to grow throughout their lifespan. But in animals, they grow only till a certain age. Plants continues to grow throughout their lifetime, but in animals, the growth period, they will grow only to a certain age. Now, I have already told you there are both defining characters and non-defining characters. Listen me very carefully. Defining characters are those characters which solely determines that it is a very good evidence for life. If that is there, life is there. Now, if growth is considered to be a defining character, when you see the huge mountains, they grow a little bit. Every year they grow inches. Seas grow. Are they living? No. So, increase in mass, and that is called as accretion. What is it called? Accretion. Accretion means accumulation of matter. So, just that you grow doesn't imply that it is a solid property of living organism. So, basically, growth is not a defining property. Growth is not a defining property because even non-living things like mountain exhibits growth. Now let's learn the term reproduction. So reproduction is nothing but the production of progeny having features similar to that of parents. Production of progeny that have features similar to that of parents. As you know, organisms, they reproduce both asexually and sexually. Asexual reproduction is a reproduction in which, there is growth and development is one and the same. But for sexual reproduction, they are different. Let us watch how does it differentiate. Now, when you consider unicellular organisms like bacteria, amoeba, etc., both this reproduction and growth, they are one and the same because a single cell is splitting up. So, reproduction and growth are the same. There lies a beautiful NEET question. For unicellular organisms like bacteria, algae and amoeba, A is synonymous with B. What are A and B? A is reproduction, B is growth. Okay, so both growth and reproduction are synonymous in unicellular organisms. Now the question is, can we consider growth and reproduction as a defining character? Now, when an organism reproduces, can you consider it as a living organism? Or if an organism cannot reproduce, can you consider it as not a living organism? Because this is mule. Mule does not reproduce because mule is a crossed product. The worker honeybee will not reproduce because it do not have that ability. So, shall we say that mule and worker bee are non-living? No, they are living. So, reproduction is not a defining quality of a living organism. So, we clearly understand that the both growth, because mountains also grow. Reproduction, mule, worker honeybee, etc., sterile couples, they do not reproduce, but still they live. So, these two characters are non-defining characters of life. The next important property is called as metabolism. What is it called? Metabolism. Metabolism means there involves two policies. One is catabolism and the other one is anabolism. Catabolism and anabolism. Anabolism means making up and catabolism means breaking up. Anabolism and catabolism, the sum total of all the biochemical reactions. I repeat, the sum total of all the biochemical reactions is called as metabolism. So what is metabolism? The sum total of all the living organism is called metabolism. You know, at the anabolism, it has to counter-exceed the catabolism in order for life to persist. So metabolism, if there is metabolism, there is life. I repeat, if there is metabolism, there is life. Therefore, the metabolism is called as a defining character. Metabolism is called as a defining character. Getting me? So growth is non-defining, reproduction is non-defining, whereas metabolism is a defining character. Now, metabolic reactions, it can be demonstrated outside the cell. Anything outside, it is called as in vitro. What is it called? In vitro. Now, in vitro, you, the NEET student, have to take up into mind two concepts. In vitro, they are not living, but the reactions are living. So, in vitro means the reactions are living, but the things are non-living. So, in vitro, non-living things, but the reactions are living things. That is the point to be noted there. So, I repeat, if an organism exhibits metabolism, it exhibits life. Now, the fourth very important point is called cellular organization. You know, the entire living organism is made up of one or more cells. So, if there is cellular organization, then the body exhibits life. If there is cellular organization, the body exhibits life. So, it is a very defining quality of among the properties. So, I repeat, growth is non-defining, reproduction is non-defining, metabolism is defining, and cellular organization is also defining. Now we come to the fifth major and very important point, that is called consciousness. See, here you can see the beautiful monkey looking up at the mirror, because it also wants to know how does it look, because it also needs to have a show off to its opposite gender. When you go to areas like, very thick forest, the male monkeys, they will collect some red colored fruit and will spread the entire redness in their face in order to attract the opposite gender. So that is all about consciousness. So consciousness is the ability to sense their environment. So what is consciousness? The ability to sense their environment and respond to stimuli like heat, temperature, cold. We respond. So the ability to sense their environment and respond is called as consciousness. Getting me? So if consciousness is there, there is life. If consciousness is there, there is life. So how can we conclude? Growth, is it defining or non-defining? Non-defining. Reproduction, non-defining. Metabolism, defining. Cellular organization, defining. Consciousness, defining. And we have one more important property, and that is called as self-consciousness. What is it called? Self-consciousness. About oneself itself. The only organism in the world that exhibits ego, possessiveness, etc. It is all about self-consciousness. And the only species that exhibit self-consciousness is we, the human. But when we are in a state of coma? Can we remember anyone? No. Can we feel anyone? No. We feel nothing, we cannot remember anything, etc. So, but is the person living still then? Yes. So, self-consciousness is not a defining property. Consciousness is a defining property. So, how can we conclude? We can conclude like this. Now, growth is non-defined. Now, what about reproduction? Reproduction is also non-defined. Metabolism is defined. Cellular organization is defined. Consciousness is defined, but self-consciousness is not defined. So, growth, reproduction and self-consciousness are not defined characters, whereas metabolism, cellular organization and consciousness are defined. So, my dearest future doctor, what are the expected NEET question from this topic? Is this single slide. So, among the 5 characteristics of growth, which of the following are defined, which of the following are not defined? Understand that self-consciousness is not defined. Other than that, growth and reproduction are not defined. If an organism exhibits metabolism, cellular organization and consciousness, the particular organism exhibits life. So, in this beautiful chapter called Living World, now we have learned the 5 major properties of life. We have analyzed which of them are defining, which of them are not defining. Thank you. Be with Grandhas. Be a winner.